All right, y'all, man. So, where'd it go? All right. So I'm gonna do a fun little exercise with you guys. Me and my homeboy, me and one of my closest friends, especially when it comes to the mocks and comes to the NFL. Close friend of mine. We went ahead and did the exercise of mocking a mock, and we did our own little mock draft, man. And I just wanted to share it with y'all, bro, because I felt like it was pretty interesting because the way that it made the whole board fall, and it made me think. And so what happened was, actually we did this a couple days ago, and I went ahead, he threw the idea out to him. It was like, hey, let's do one of these mocks. And he was like, okay. And since it was my idea, he wanted to give me the first pick. And I was like, nah, man, it was 314 day from St. Louis. I went ahead and threw it to him. And I let him go ahead and pick first. And I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys how the board fell, but I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you the picks first before I just throw them at you and just put them up on the board. You feel me? So, but he threw me for a curveball. The first pick, he went ahead and he had the Tennessee Titans select Abdul Carter. I know. I'm like, whoa, okay. So he had to tell me his theory. I'm like, man, what? They need a quarterback. Like, why wouldn't they take Cam Ward? Like, everybody's saying think Cam's a lock. I'm like, okay, you gotta explain yourself, sir. So he goes further. He's like, okay, they let go of Harold Landry. They maybe need, making room for another edge. And I was like, okay, I'll give it to you. Maybe, can't remember the whole argument or what the facts that he brought behind it, but I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. Okay, you sold me on it. Okay, let's do it. So then I had to pick two, and here's where the board gets a little wonky now, because I could have went Cam Ward at 2, but I didn't. And I didn't take a quarterback. Alright, so follow me. Okay, so I know that Cleveland needs a quarterback. They traded for Kenny Pickett. Little risky, we ain't gonna get into Kenny Pickett. For the Kenny Pickett lovers out there, hey, I hope that he does well, wins him an opportunity to, do well. They've been talking about bringing Russ in to Cleveland and, trying to see if he's going to come, maybe a 1-year deal. You already got Deshaun Watson still on the roster. So they don't have much flexibility. I did hear Todd McShay kind of explain why he thought it'd be a good fit for Shaduer to go to Cleveland. But this is assuming that Cam goes to the Titans. Right? So I went ahead and I said, you know what? The best defensive players off the board, you can't pair Myles Garrett with Abdul Carter. Let's get somebody that can give us some flexibility just in case they do cut ties with Denzel Ward, which he's a all-pro corner. I love me some Denzel Ward, but I'm saying you can get some help for him in the meantime. Martin Emerson is gone, or potentially could be seeking a contract elsewhere. You do have Greg Newsome in the slot, so you got some good guys. And then on the receiver end, you got Jerry Jeudy, you got David Njoku. They could use a running back, but never at 2. You wouldn't take a running back. So I thought, what's the most explosive player that could, bring you both? And so I brought to the board Travis Hunter, and I went ahead and selected Travis Hunter at the second pick. Whatever. Now, that brings up the New York Giants at number 3. So, with that being said, it was almost destined now at this point for a quarterback to go off the board, especially with New York Giants, with Dayball and Joe Sheen needing to make some type of progress so they can save their job. So I went ahead, it was my buddy Keys. He went ahead and selected Cam Ward here at number 3 for the Giants. All right. Moving forward to the 4th pick, we went ahead. The number 4 guy off the board was T-Mac, Tedero McMillan. Now, I did want to go Will Campbell. I did want to get him some offensive line help, but the Patriots have spent some money. They spend a lot of money on defense. But I feel like they're in desperate need at wide receiver. And so I went wide receiver early for them because I felt like they could still get someone in the 2nd round that can help them tremendously up front. So I went Tet because he is one of the most explosive receivers in the draft. Why not get Drake May some help outside to elevate that offense? Number 5. So Keys went ahead and he picked the Jacksonville Jaguars. He went ahead and got those guys, that franchise, Will Campbell. He went on to say, getting some help up front. They had one of the worst offensive lines in the league, where you had, Trevor Lawrence. If you created more opportunities for some of his weapons like Travis Etienne or Tank Bigsby. If I'm killing his name, forgive me. Tank. I know his first name is Tank. Bangsby. But anyway, they're both, pretty explosive backs. You got a good punch there. They may need a tight end, but we didn't see maybe Tyler Warren going 5 maybe, but Will Campbell to get them some help up front. Number 6. And here's where the things got tricky here. With Keys actually being he's from St. Louis, but he is actually a long time now Raiders fan. Now since the franchise has been gone, he's dedicated his loyalty to the Raiders, and I decided to swap picks with him, not actual trade picks, but I gave him the opportunity to double up and pick for the Raiders. He went ahead and he selected Asthon Jeanty, which has been slotted in a lot of mocks. Asthon Jeanty could go as high as 6 to the Raiders. With Pete Carroll liking to run the ball. They got Brock Bowers last year. They do have a versatile piece, a versatile weapon. Why not make it a little bit more versatile in that offense? You got Geno Smith, give him a nice little run game. So Asthon Jeanty was the pick at number 6. Here is where I went ahead at this point, and it was my pick. I had the Jets. Me knowing and being familiar as a Bears fan, familiar with Justin Fields, and prior to this mock, he had just got signed maybe a day and a half before we did it. So I had to think about it. I said, okay, now they actually have a quarterback that they signed. They expect him to actually give him a shot to win their actual starting job, for the future. So I said, okay, they have Garrett Wilson. You have Breece Hall. You don't really have a tight end. You have Alan Lazard. You have a couple weapons. But why not give them one of the most dynamic and most versatile weapons in this year's class and really give their offense some juice? They have had some issues with their offensive line, but I don't see. I was very, 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 very close to putting Armand Membu at number 7. I was like this close to really saying, hey, let's put them a real role grader in their offense and maybe create some more open lanes for their running game. But I was like this close, but I said, you know what, let's give them a more explosive offense. I also did think about going corner and helping out Sauce on the other side because they lost DJ Reed. All right, so the next pick that was in was from Keys. He went ahead and he selected the Georgia Bulldog, Jelon Walker. He is the first Bulldog off the board, and he went to the Carolina Panthers at number 8. Keys brought to my attention that the DC and the coach made like a more versatile piece in that defense. He provides some of the things, maybe even a little bit more than what Shaq Thompson had, which was a very versatile piece in their defense, which not only could Jelon play off ball, but he can play some edge as well. So he creates a lot of versatility. They do have some pieces that they picked up on that Carolina defense. So I did agree with him there. Offense is okay. I think that since Tet had came off the board, his reasoning was to go defense, and he was the best player available at that point in his mind. So that's who he went with. All right, number 9. So the New Orleans Saints, pardon me, losing my voice a little bit. The New Orleans Saints were on the board. I had this pick here. I actually doubled up. I had the Saints and I had the Bears. And with the offensive line play that they've had recently, Ryan Ramczyk at tackle has been abysmal at times. And this is from Saints fans. This is not from me. This is from Saints. Who that nation? People that, online say how they feel about their team. If you go back and look at their record, they're in the top 10 for a reason. Offensive line wasn't that good. Offense wasn't that good. They could use a lot. Defense, they had some players on there. You still have Cam Ward. You still have Demario Davis. You still have Alontae Taylor. They signed Justin Reed. You have Tyrann Mathieu. So you got some players on that on the defense, and this is a depth draft. I call it a depth draft because you may not get the best player, but the best player may be here, but you may get the second and third, fourth and fifth guy may be very close. So you may get someone that it may not be the exact same or the top guy that you wanted, but you may get someone just a smidge underneath. And so I went ahead and said, with this name flying up mocks and them needing some type of lift on their offense, I didn't want to go offensive like a specialty player. So I went on the offensive line and I created them some more versatility up front. Maybe they can, kick some other guys inside. But I went ahead and said that I'm running in the card for Armand Membu out of Missouri if I'm the New Orleans Saints. I don't think that's almost like a no-brainer. Get some help on that offensive line, create some more lanes maybe for Alvin Kamara and some of the other guys on their team, and maybe some more time for Derek Carr. So with the board falling like this, me being a Bears fan, I did not see this shit happening at all. Excuse my language. Most of the time I don't cuss on my page or on my channel here, but this, I told him, I said, man, if this shit happens, bro, they need to run that damn card up to the podium immediately. Forget the little timer, the 2 minutes before you go in. Go up there and hand that damn pick in immediately. But I'm going ahead. If this board falls like this, guess who's still available? And looking us right in the face. I'm taking Mason Graham out of Michigan, and I'm not looking back. And he's, in some cases, some people says, top 2, top 3. Some people even said the best player in this draft. And if you're able to get him at 10, if this board falls the way that it does, it's like a no-brainer. If you're the Chicago Bears, you got Grady Jarrett, you got Gervon Dexter, you got Dio, you got Montez Sweat, feel like you got Andrew Billings, you got Austin Booker. Then your secondary is already pretty much set. You may get could pick up a safety in the 4th round of this draft, and maybe you get you another tackle in the second round, and with that second pick, or the second round pick, you got 2 of them. Get you a running back, get Caleb Johnson or Quinshawn Junkins or something like that. But if the board falls like this, I'm a Bears fan. I'm taking Mason Graham. I wonder what my Bears Nation, my Bears fans out there feel about this mock. Tell me who you would get. Tell me who you would pick. If the board fell and you had this player on the board, would you take him? Or is there anybody else that you would see still available that you was like, hey, I think we should take him? Like maybe a Calvin Banks if he's still there. Or Shamar Stewart, he's an edge. Mike Green, some of those guys are getting a lot of love. So tell me what you think. Actually, another thing that I'm gonna do for you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and what I did was we only did the top 10, but I went ahead and let the simulation continue on for the rest of the picks. So I'm gonna go ahead and share some of those other picks with you guys, and you tell me what you think. I'll put it up in there, put it in the video so you guys can check it out as well. But I'll just go ahead and name a few of these guys that also went in the first round. And a notable name that did not actually make it in this first round, Shaduer Sanders did not make it in this first round. This board falls like this here in this top 10. Shaduer Sanders was not picked in the first round, and this is not intentional. Like I said, we only did the top 10 and the rest were simulated. So you had Shamar Stewart go to the 49ers at 11, which I could see happening. Get Nick Bosa some help, the edge out of Texas A&M. The Cowboys, they went ahead and got Jahad Campbell, which would be a perfect fit for their defense. Get them some more help and up the middle. Him and Micah Parsons on the same team is like crazy. Like that's crazy. Pardon me. The next number 13, you had the Dolphins. They went ahead and got Jahdae Barron. Apologize, out of Texas, the corner. Very versatile. I can see him fitting over there opposite of Jalen Ramsey, also playing a little bit of slot, or some even some safety as well, some robber safety. He's played a few different positions at Texas. So then you had the Colts getting some edge help for themselves. They got Latu last year out of UCLA. They backed it up this year. They go ahead and get Mike Green out of Marshall. He had a big big Senior Bowl, pardon me. So he has risen up a lot of draft boards. Number 15 was Nick Amenwari out of South Carolina. The safety goes to the Falcons. That would be crazy if he goes over there with AJ Terrell. And that secondary, you already seen what they did with Jesse Bates. So getting another versatile piece. The kid, if you haven't seen Nick Amenwari play before, I kind of put him like this, man. Like, he's a safety that's kind of, imagine DK Metcalf playing safety. Like, that's what he looked like. He's 6'3", 220, jacked, fast, strong, big, likes to hit people. Yeah, he big. He a big dude. When you see him, it's like, man, is he a linebacker? But then you get to see him moving. It's like, damn, this nigga fast, boy. Yeah, he's nice. The Cardinals, they take Donovan Ezeraku out of Boston College, the edge. Then we have, pardon me, the light went out, so don't mind the light. Next, we have the Bengals taking the edge out of Georgia, Mikael Williams. I think that is a good pickup for them because you do have the potential. Lights on, lights off. Okay, it's playing games. But you do have the potential of Trey Hendrickson leaving. He has requested a trade, which the Bengals have given him permission. So Who's to say where he may end up? But that'd be a good edge to maybe, because he has such a high ceiling. That may be a guy to replace Trey Hendrickson with, because his ceiling is so high. I can see that. Next, the Seattle Seahawks picked at 18. They went ahead and selected Will Johnson. That was interesting to me. Again, I had the same reaction, because you got Devin Witherspoon already, and then you also have Woolen on the other side. So that's interesting. Maybe they're trying to get some nickel help. Maybe move Will Johnson outside, Witherspoon inside, more nickel, because he is like a beast. That dude is just a beast, man. So number 19, apologize. Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, the tackle. I can see that being a good pick. He did suffer a severe ankle injury, lower leg injury early in the season. He only played 4 games, so we'll see how his recovery, how it does, if he even really plays this season, or is it like gonna be a red shirt season to let him heal and see what he can do in year 2. Number 20, you had another receiver go off the board. We had the Denver Broncos take Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State, a wide receiver, to get Bo Nix some help out there. That's a pretty good pickup. Interesting, because you still have Colston Loveland on the board. A lot of people have been mocking Colston Loveland to Denver because their tight end room is so thin. But I think getting someone like Cortland Sutton, a nice 1-2 combo with somebody could be very very explosive for their offense. Next up, you had the Pittsburgh Steelers picking at 21, and they went ahead and got Kenneth Grant out of Michigan State, the defensive tackle. I think that's a really good pickup for them. They did have some problems and issues with their run defense this year, so bringing in a big body like him, I know he's like 6'5", 320, 330, so he's a big guy. That's a big man. And putting him up front, helping TJ Watt and that defense. So number 22, you had another receiver come off the board. You got Justin Herbert, getting him some help. You got Matthew Golden going to the Chargers. Number 23, you have Tyler Booker, the guard out of Alabama, giving them some help up front in Green Bay, helping out Jordan Love. He was sacked and pressured more than a lot of quarterbacks this past season. So hopefully they get him some help. Well, I'm a Bears fan, so hopefully not. But hopefully, I don't wish nothing bad on none of these players. But they go ahead and they're selecting Tyler Booker. Number 24, you have Malachi Starks go off the board to the Minnesota Vikings, the safety out of Georgia. Very versatile piece. You still have a very, very strong defense. The DC over there, please forgive me. I got his face right here. I can see his face. I can't think of his name right now, but I know that he used to coach the Dolphins, but he'll be a very versatile piece in that secondary. He's known for his exotic blitzes and stuff like that. So have a piece that can probably, come in, play some corner, but then you can drop him back. He can, switch, from high safety to low safety to corner to slot. You can do a lot of things with a Malachi Starks in that defense. Next up, you got CJ Stroud getting some help. Kelvin Banks Jr. falls all the way to number 25 on the board. Some people even say he was the number 2 tackle in this year's class. Some people even can argue that he's number 1. To see him going all the way to 25, some people would say is a steal for the Houston Texans. And CJ Stroud probably is going to be a happy camper if you get somebody like him up front. Next up, we had the Rams. The rich get richer. They get James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee, the edge, all the way at 26. Beginning of the season, he was mocked, maybe even 1, or some people's number 2, 3 on the board. So to see him fall all the way to 26 in the Rams after they're getting a Jared Verse type of player this past season. Also, with the other players they have on that front, with like Byron Young and yeah, so that's a nice piece that Sean McVay adds to that defense. Let's see, at 27, that leaves us with the Baltimore Ravens, and they went ahead and they selected the nasty defensive tackle up front, Walter Nolan, out of Ole Miss. Create some versatility up front. Like I said, this was all simulated, but I can see where this mock was heading, trying to fill some of these holes for a lot of these teams. So Walter Nolan goes. I guess it's a run on edges because now you have the Detroit Lions going ahead and they're taking a Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle out of Oregon, or I would say defensive lineman, because they when he played in Oregon, they put him all over the defensive line. He lined up some right over the nose. I mean, right over the center. They lined him up at the 9, which is all the way outside of, the tackle. I mean, not the tackle, but the, if you had the tight end and then tackle there, he'll be outside of that tight end on his right shoulder or left shoulder if he's on the other side. But he's played in a lot of different positions, so I can see him being in that defense and moving him around, helping get Aiden Hutchinson freed up. And then next you have the Washington Redskins actually taking at corner, which they desperately needed some help in corners. I know that my boy Emmanuel Forbes didn't work out. They went in, traded for Marshawn Lattimore middle of last season to see if they can get him some help. They go ahead and get Maxwell Harrison out of Kentucky, the corner, which he killed the combine. He's actually one of my favorite DBs in this whole draft class. So hopefully he goes and, explodes onto the scene in their secondary. They do have some pieces over there that I like already, and they're building something nice over there in Washington. So that's another versatile piece that they're trying to add. Very explosive. Number 30, you got the Buffalo Bills. They're taking and selecting Colston Loveland. I knew he wouldn't slip to the second round, but you already have a team like Buffalo that are, they already have Dalton Kincaid and Dalton Knox, and you have Kincaid. I put them together. My bad. I mixed them together, but they can do the similar things. So, but you're getting a versatile piece like a Colston Loveland. Maybe they're just trying to find explosive, smart players, but also, as we know and we learned this past year, how important having a versatile running game can affect, or having a running game can affect the offense in the playoffs. And maybe they want to go 12 personnel more and maybe use one of these receiving tight ends more in the slot. All right, so next we had number 31. You had the Kansas City Chiefs. They actually go ahead and keep the St. Louis kid in Missouri, and they go ahead and they select Mr. Luther Burton III out of Mizzou, the receiver. And Patrick Mahomes gets him another deadly weapon to go alongside Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce. You already know the rest. You know how they do. All right, number 32. You got the Philadelphia Eagles. And like I said, the rich get richer. In this draft, I don't know why the simulation did it, but the star running back out of North Carolina, Mr. Omarion Hampton, got drafted in the first round, which is something that I feel is highly likely. It's definitely going to happen. But they have him going to the Philadelphia Eagles at 32. I don't think he goes all the way to 32, but they do have a versatile back that can give spell minutes or spell reps to someone like Saquon Barkley, get some of that tread off the tires. And this is a kid here that is known to carry the workload, so I can see him coming in. They did lose Kenneth Gainwell this offseason, so getting another guy in there that they know definitely that he can run, catch, and block. He's not the best of blockers, but for what type of offense the Eagles run and that offensive line, I definitely can see someone like Omarion Hampton coming in and backing up Saquon Barkley, and maybe even one day, taking over that mantle as the number one back. All right, so these are all of the picks in the first round. I'm actually gonna do another mock myself live tomorrow, guys. So once you get this, you'll see this video. You'll probably get right after that another video of a mock. I'm actually gonna do that one live, where I actually just do, a live 32 team mock by myself. So tell me what you guys think about the first round here. We have Shaduer Sanders slipping all the way out of the first round. No Jackson Dart. We only have one quarterback go in the first round. Abdul Carter goes number 1. Travis Hunter goes number 2. Cam Ward goes 3. Tedoroy McMillan goes 4. Will Campbell goes 5. Asthon Jeanty goes 6. Tyler Warren goes 7. Jalen Walker goes 8. Armand Membu goes 9, and Mason Graham goes to the Chicago Bears at 10. You tell me what you think about this mock, and if you've done any mocks yourself, drop them down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. As always, I'm the one and only Yano from Chicago. 2 fingers as always. Peace.